The Selkirk Steelers, they made the playoffs by that 1 point over the Portage Terriers last year, but taking the regular season aside, they showed very well in the first round of the playoffs. They're a scrappy, hardworking team, and in an Eastern Conference where I think there are steps that can be made, Selkirk might be the team that takes the biggest step forward. Kevin, would you agree with that?
Certainly. I mean, they made leaps and bounds last year. Between Hudson and his coaching staff, I thought they had that team running very well, especially in some close and competitive games. I witnessed them kick and scratch back from a 2 or 3 goal deficit a few times, and oftentimes when you thought they were down on the mat, there they were competing for a win at the end of the day. And they made it close in a lot of scenarios. So I think this is a team that could be very competitive. I know that they've put the right personnel in good spots to help this team succeed. So, and it'd be great for the East. I think the East has a lot of parity, and I think Selkirk contributes to that to a great extent.
Darnell, those winning habits are what make championship teams down the road, and Selkirk, as an organization, knows that all too well. How do you want to see them attack this year, where a lot of things maybe need to go right for them to make the noise that they hope to? How do you see Selkirk looking to build off of what was a good year into this year?
I really, something has dramatically changed in Selkirk from the early 2000s when they had the surgery, Pleskash, the Howarth brothers. They were so dominant. You would go to the recreational complex in Selkirk and there would be upwards of 2,000 fans because they were oh so good every single year. Now you go into Selkirk and still, it's an older facility, but still a really nice facility. They have the broadcast booth, but they do not have any of the fan support. And that's so tough. I think being a head coach and a GM in a market like that, I think you're off to a tough start, because I think if you're in a spot where Steinbach, you guys have such great fan support, Winkler, such great fan support, Verdon, that's something you can tell these players are wondering, well, where should I go? Where should I go? I don't think it's the be end all, but I think if you have that fan support, it's that much easier for recruitment. Now, Selkirk always seems to be a place every year where they have a couple of all-star players, unreal players who ultimately get traded, or they play 1 year in Selkirk and then they move forward. If they can get that strong nucleus, get a couple of all-star players, keep them, this is a Selkirk team that knows what it takes to win. They have a really good coaching staff. They have a strong facility. I think it's just about trying to do the small things, giving the experience for fans, getting fans back in the stands, and it could bode well. I've always been a Steelers fan. I always used to watch their games back in the early 2000s. So I'm cheering for the Kings, but overall, I'm just an MJ fan, a Steelers fan. But something has to change in Selkirk. But they're always a tough team. They're always a tough team to compete against, and that's what I expect from them again this year.
Winning does a lot to bring fans in, and a successful playoff run could really go a long way